Hello, my name is Floor from Illusterium. I do all things related to fantasy art, mostly illustrations. But for this video I'm making a Ren Fair costume, without buying any new materials. I'm using my first ever made costumes, rip them apart and make something completely new out of them. Let's find out how much my sewing skills have increased over 17 years and if I can make my very tight deadline. There is this Renaissance fair in the Netherlands called Elfia Fantasy Fair, held in Castle Haar, to which I have been going for years! 17 years to be exact. And after 17 years, the castle grounds are deemed no longer fit to host events such as this one. This event will have to move somewhere else. A true end of an era for me. I have made a lot of costumes for this event over the years, in varying degrees of skill and success. And with me becoming a mom, costuming has been on the back burner for a long time. But of course I cannot attend the last and final event in this location and not have another costume. The outrage, the shame. No, my good people, we'll have to dust off the costuming skills for one last project. As for the design, let's switch over to Procreate and sketch something out. The materials I want to use are my old costumes, most of which don't fit me anymore. Of course, after 17 years, you know. The perfect victims are the two very first dresses I ever made and Frankenstein them together. Fortunately, they are made using the same pattern, Butterick Patterns B4827 Mrs. Medieval Dress and Belt. So, because the colors have such a high contrast, I was thinking something in the line of a bard outfit, embracing the color chaos and making it worse. I have always wanted to make a two-colored kirtle-like dress, so this is the perfect opportunity. Additionally, this might be an easy way to make the dress fit me correctly, by using more of both front panels to add a few centimeters. So listen. Because of my limited time, I do tend to forget recording some of the progress part. Let me just demonstrate what I did by sketching it out for you, okay? 1. That was a bit loud. 1. I seam ripped the sleeves off. They are set aside for now. B. I seam ripped the interfacing and lacing panels out of both dresses. They are also added to the set aside pile. 3rd. I seam ripped one side of the front panels and opened up the back of both dresses. Then I attached one side of the orange dress and the other side of the blue dress to each other by a French seam in the back. Now I was able to try the dress on and alter the front panels so the dress would fit. So let me just show you what's going on inside of these dresses. So as you can see, when I was 14, I didn't really bother doing anything against fraying. These seams were just let loose. And yeah, it's not looking too pretty. There's a lot of fraying going on. And at the hem, I did actually try to do some type of, you know, protecting the raw edge. This one wasn't so bad, but that is mainly because this fabric doesn't fray as heavily as the other one. There's some fraying, but it's not that bad. These are just some loose threads from the seam ripping. And it's not like I did it in case the raw edges because I knew this fabric wouldn't fray as much. This was just, I know, unexperienced. And as for the current dress, I used a pinking shear to cut some of those raw edges off because it's gonna get tingly. But am I going to really finish these? I don't think so, actually. It's not like I'm gonna wear this that much, maybe once or twice. It's a lot of work. I don't have a lot of time. But if I get to it, I would love to just sit on the couch and finish these off by hand. For the front closure, I was going to use the eyelet panel I ripped out of the back and use it in the front. They are not the prettiest, but it would save me so much time. Alternatively, I could hand sew eyelets and do spiral lacing. Way prettier, but also time consuming. But little did I know, when I made these considerations, that I did not follow the pattern directions consistently when I made these dresses in the first place. Because the orange dress has 16 eyelets going down and the blue dress 12. They were not lining up at all. Thank the ancient ones that I love hand sewing. If I had the time, the sewing machine would keep collecting dust and I would sew the whole thing by hand, which I sort of did. Don't tell the sewing machine.
Heb je geen knoopje nodig?
Nee, er zit een knoopje met draad. Fijn dat jij helpt, zeg. Je bent wel een beetje afgeleid volgens mij, hè?
Want ik kan hem niet stilhouden.
Oh ja.
Heb je hier geprikt?
Nee hoor.
Wel een keertje?
Ja, wel een keertje. Best wel vaak. Maar nu nog niet. Vandaag nog niet.
Oh, de witte cijfertjes zeggen wanneer je klaar bent.
En zeggen de cijfertjes al dat we klaar zijn?
Nee.
Wat moeten ze dan zeggen?
Dat weet ik niet.
Nee?
Hou je meer je mond.
Ja,
Dat is gevaarlijk.
weet je wel, ja. I'm so happy with the eyelets. They came out so pretty. They are sort of sun or star shaped and make for such a nicer finish than the metal eyelets would have ever made. For the sleeves, I want the sleeves to be detachable, connecting to the dress by eyelet and ribbon. That way I can always take them off if it gets too hot. Having 4 sleeves in total, I could easily recycle the second sleeve of every color to make the contrast color on the cuffs. I chose a zigzag design to stay in theme with the diamond shapes. They are sewn on by hand with a white woolen thread cut in the middle for a decorative edge. The edge binding is also sewn by hand. You know what? Most of what you see is sewn on by hand. You can just assume that it is hand sewn unless told otherwise, okay? Again, don't tell the sewing machine. Not only do I have a big stash of fabric I can pull from, but also knitting wool. I have never knitted in my life, but I have this huge pile of knitting wool. Going through my wool stash, I found a glittery white wool and a very thick, also white wool, both perfect for trim decorations. I stitched them along the hem of the dress in a diamond/rectangle pattern. The thick white wool also made some tassels hanging from the hem. That was sort of accidental, because the wool was too thick to pass through the fabric, so I had to improvise a little. But let's just call it a totally intentional design choice. And adding to the circus are the white diamond shapes I make on the dress and trim. I still have some white shiny satiny fabric lying around from yet another ancient project. I also had this dark teal wool left over, which made a pretty fancy border for the white fabric diamond patches. I can't decide, are we gonna do one big piece or are we gonna try the pattern match? Is that better? I don't know what to do. Or should I cut this out and then try to stick these pieces over the branches? But that's a lot of work. I don't have the time. I don't have the time to ponder either, so I have to make a decision. I hope you can see the chalk marks on camera. They're a bit light, but I decided to place the pattern on the edge here. So you have this branch-like embroidery along the front part of the collar. I was really indecisive about the placement because these branches are so straight and the collar, of course, is well rounded, and I wasn't quite sure what the right angle was going to be, and this may actually be a very poor angle, but we'll see, you know. Sometimes you just have to decide something and then we'll see where it brings us, and we can fix things, I guess, if it is awful. I have some fabric left, so I think I can squeeze one more of these colors out of this fabric, but then I will have to work with this less embroidered part of the skirt. But who knows, maybe that's better. We'll see. I have to whip out the sewing machine for this one because I don't have a lot of time, and I have to cut out a lining also. And I would love to do it all by hand, but I have 2 weeks left at this point. And 2 weeks for me means that I have 2 Thursdays, very limited time on Thursday, to actually do one of these projects, because I don't feel like taking out the sewing machine in the evenings. It's too much trouble, you know? Just want to sit on the couch. So yeah, let's get cracking. have to iron. There. I did the thing you're supposed to do. I should probably iron some other stuff. I do believe I have some sleeves that needs ironing. There. Look at that. It fits perfect on the remaining panels of the dress. I love it when a plan comes together. I'm still in debate whether these are going to be buttons or loopholes or some other kind of closure, maybe a brooch. I don't know yet. Don't you love this contrast? I think I can also maybe try to make it reversible so I can wear the orange part on top for some other occasion. Because it's so pretty. I need more pins. Okay, so I lied about not buying any new material for this project, because I did. Look, wait, let me just open the package. I couldn't help myself, man. Look at all the shinies. I have been wanting to work with this for a long time, so I thought this would probably be a very good, moment to do so. So look. This was a good choice, right? I mean, no, the outfit won't be completely made out of, material I already had, but I should have had this in the first place. This is just me time traveling a bit and getting all the shinies. And with that, the costume is done. I'm very pleased how she came out. The dress is so comfortable, the colors turned out very, very complimentary, and she's adjustable. I wore my chemise underneath, which was perfect to prevent the plastic fabrics from directly touching my skin and making me sweat like crazy. I like the color, but I do think I may prefer the dress without it. What do you think? Overall, I finished the costume on time, and I'm very proud of the result. Thankfully, I'm a fairly quick hand sewer. Of course, it would maybe have been quicker using the machine. Considering the time to set it up and doing so in the very little time window I have, I think I can make more use of that time if I do things by hand. It was very fun to see what I could make with everything I already have at home, putting my stash to good use. I'd love to do another one of this kind of project. If you enjoyed this video, please do me the honor and hit the like button for my debut video. And hey, maybe you also hit the subscribe button while you're at it. Huh? Who knows? I'm not your boss. I'll venture forth to my next project, and perhaps we'll meet again.